Hi you guys, and welcome to In the Kitchen with Courtney. I'm your host, Courtney Robertson, and I don't know about you guys, but at all of our holiday meals, we have green bean casserole. You know, the staple, the pop top one, where you pop the top of green beans and you pop the top of cream and mushroom soup. Well, the only thing that's gonna be popping about this green bean casserole are all the delicious flavors of the fresh ingredients. You're first going to prepare your green beans, okay? So all we need to do is get out a chunk of our green beans and we're gonna chop them into little kind of bite-sized pieces, okay? So you're just gonna chop off the ends and both ends and then just chop them into little pieces. Remember, it's green bean casserole, so it's rough, right? And what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to just cover them with cold water, just to where they're covered. And here's where I'm going to add some of my salt, okay? I'm going to add the 1/4 teaspoon of salt, okay, just to brighten up the flavors. Step 2, my green beans are on the stove. They're blanching for about 5 minutes. Now I'm gonna get my onions and my mushrooms ready to go in the pot. I always leave the root on, the stringy part on, because that helps the onions stay together to me, so I can chop it better. So now I'm gonna cut it into half moons, just straight down, okay? So easy chop. If you wanna make it smaller, go ahead and dice it up if you want to. I'm not really all that concerned about it. You don't have to chop up your mushrooms if you don't want to, but I like for them to be really dispersed in my casserole. So I'm gonna chop up these big, beautiful mushrooms just a little bit. I'm just running my knife through them, just kind of chopping them up, nothing perfect. Kind of like our families, right? Well, at least mine. So now I've got my onion and my mushroom cut up. I've got a 1/4 cup of butter melting in my pan, which is half of the stick of butter that we needed for today. And then I'm just gonna put my onions, my mushroom, and my garlic into the pan and let that get all happy together. I'm just going to cook this down until my onions turn translucent, which is clear. My mushrooms have cooked down a little bit until they've gotten a little bit darker brown, which is about 3 or 4 minutes. Doesn't take long. So as you can see right here, I've got my green beans into a strainer. And all I did was, when the 5 minutes was up, they're still bright and green. So they still held their beautiful color. So all I did was I strained them. I dumped them into a strainer in the sink, and then I ran cold water over them. The cold water helps shock them, meaning stop the cooking process. So I don't want them to cook anymore. I want them to maintain that beautiful green color and their crispiness, because they're gonna cook in the oven some more, and so I don't want them to be all like, oh, you know, like wimpy, you know, like out of the can. Our onions and mushrooms are done. So I'm going to put them into a bowl. And I like to use a slotted spoon so I can keep all the yummy juice in the pan, as much of it as I can. Perfect. Okay, let's make some sauce. So here's the final step of putting this whole delicious green bean casserole together. We're melting our butter, and then we're gonna start slowly adding all of our ingredients together to make a really great cream sauce. So let's roll, people. Okay, so I just added in my 1/4 cup of all-purpose white flour. And basically what we're doing is we're making the beginning of a roux, which is a thickening agent. And so right now it's at the stage of what's called a white roux. And all we're gonna do is cook this for about 45 seconds to a minute, just so that you're cooking the flour to get that raw flour taste out of it. Nobody wants to taste that. So now that my flour's been cooking, I'm going to add my 3/4 cup of chicken broth. And again, I'm gonna keep whisking, because you wanna keep everything moving when you're making a roux. You don't want anything to stick, okay? And it's going to bubble up on you, that's okay. You're cooking right now over like a medium to medium-high heat. It's going to get thick and pasty on you. That's okay. Don't freak out. That's what roux do. Look at that. It's like a gloppy mess. So now that's done. Now we're gonna add our cup of half and half. Stir slowly Don't get all hot and heavy here because you don't want the half and half splashing out on you. Now it's gonna break up. You're gonna think that something's wrong. It's not. Just keep whisking. It's starting to get thick because the half and half has warmed up and your flour paste is breaking up. It's getting thick. It's coming together. All right, now I'm gonna add my seasonings. I'm adding my remaining salt. Then we're gonna add the pepper and your nutmeg. This is gonna make people go crazy. There's our sauce, as easy as that, okay? Now that I've got all that added in, it's nice and thick. Look at my consistency. It's still got a nice thick paste to it, but it's like a good gravy. It's like a really good gravy that you would want to slather all over some biscuits, okay? Now I'm gonna add in some Parmesan cheese. This is gonna give you some saltiness too. So if you taste this and it doesn't taste real salty, don't stress because Parmesan cheese adds saltiness. I'm telling y'all, once you make this one time, you will never go back to the pop-top kind. I'm telling you. From here, you just add everything back. You're adding all your stuff in so you can get it nice and mixed together, and then we're gonna put it in the baking pan. So now I'm gonna dump in my green beans. Now I'm gonna add in my onions and mushroom mixture. Now I'm going to use my spatula and just turn it all in. Oh my Lanta. Y'all, I mean, I could just scoop it into my mouth right now. Look at this. Is that not a thing of beauty? Once you think you've got everything incorporated, then we're gonna pour it into the 9x13. Now I did spray my 9x13 pan with some vegetable spray just to make sure that this doesn't stick to my pan. Get all the nooks and crannies tucked in. Now, here comes more yumminess, right? You've got to top it with some more Parmesan cheese. So this is just the leftover from the 1 cup of Parmesan cheese that we had, okay? It's gonna make it nice and golden brown on top. And then of course, no green bean casserole can be without the yummy crunchies of the onions. Yum! So now it's time for this delicious green bean casserole to go into a 350-degree oven just for a quick little 25-minute hot spa, and then we get to pull it out. It's reveal time. Let's see what it looks like. Oh my gosh. It smells delicious. Look at that. This one might be a little bit thinner than your traditional green bean casserole, but what we need to keep in mind is that mushrooms have a lot of water in them, okay? Because they're mostly water. And then your green beans will have a little bit of water in them as well because of the blanching process that we do for them. So it's okay for your sauce to be a little bit thin. The green beans are still crunchy. And the onions just add that nice, unctuous, smooth texture, but it's earthy in your mouth. And the nutmeg, it just kind of creeps up on you and you're like, what is that? And it's like a warming sensation, right? Which is so nice for the holidays. And it's just that nutty flavor. Oh, you guys, you are never gonna go back to the pop-top stuff. It's so great. I hope your family really enjoys this recipe and it'll become your new staple around your holiday table. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is In the Kitchen with Courtney. I look forward to seeing you next time.
If you like my mom's videos, then please subscribe to her channel or press the like button.